Bud Not Buddy, Chapter 8, Part 4. Here's a little recap and review. Chapter 8 is pretty long, so here we go, really fast. Bud wakes up to a twig snapping and senses a person staring at him. He grabs his knife and is about to attack the person, but the person pounces on him and traps him under his blanket. The person says he's sorry if the guy under the blanket isn't Bud from the home. Thrilled that he recognizes Bugs' voice, Bud tells him he almost got stabbed. Bugs is startled too and says he only did that because Bud sleeps with a knife open and he didn't want to get sliced. Bud guesses why Bugs is there. Bugs is running away too. After they both calm down, Bud learns that Bugs is heading west to be a picker and will travel, hopping trains. Next up, Bugs is only interested in finding out about Bud's fight with Todd and calls him a hero. The boys shake with goopy, slobbery hands, and Bud calls him his brother. At the mission, the boys find out that they have to go to Hooverville to find out about the next train heading west, but no one can tell them how to get there. Following a trail along a creek, the boys come upon some music and the smell of cooking food. They peek inside and see how poor the place is with cardboard shacks. Then Bugs flips a coin to see which of them should go in to talk to the folks there. Bugs said, "Heads, I win. Tails, you lose." That's in chapter 8 of page 45 of chapter 8, if you're looking in the real book. But do you get it? He says, "Heads, I win. Tails, you lose." Get it? That means Bud has to go either way. Which is what happens. Next, when Bud talks to the mouth organ man, he finds out that he is actually in Hooverville and that there are a whole bunch of Hoovervilles across the country. That means there's a lot of poor people living in shacks, in shanty towns all over the United States. The mouth organ man tells Bud and Bugs they are in the right place if they are from Flint. Bud and Bugs look around and see that Hooverville is very diverse. The mouth organ man tells the boys that traveling is bad and that Hooverville is home. The boys agree to do all the dishes for their dinner, which is muskrat stew. Good, right? Okay, not so much. But after dinner, two children join the boys and they carry a box of, quote, dishes down to the creek to wash them. And by dishes, we mean tin cans, since nobody here can afford real dishes. Next, we come to a little girl named Deza Malone who divides the washers up into teams, and she picks Bud to wash with. Deza asks Bud if he is getting on the train headed west, which he is, and he asks if she is going, which she says no, her dad is. Deza and her mom are going to wait for her dad. While doing the dishes, Bud notices Deza's hand touching his hand a lot. When Deza asks about Bud's dad, he brushes her question off, just as he brushed off the question about his mom. Deza calls his bluff and tells him to quit pretending everything is okay. Deza tells Bud that there is nothing more important than family. Without realizing it, Bud says that his mother told him the same thing, but then he stops himself before he says too much to a stranger. Deza wants to know more and eggs Bud on. She tries to get him to talk more. Next, we have Bud tells Deza that his mama used to say that he was the most loved boy in the world. Deza says that her mother calls poor kids who hop trains, quote, dust in the wind. But she says that Bud is different because he carries his family around inside of him. Notice how when you get a quote straight from the text, you put it with quotation marks just like that. And to be even more appropriate, you would say, put the chapter 8 and the page number. Our page numbers are a little different because we're looking at Kindle versus looking at the real book. But yeah. That's what you do. Then Deza points out how innocent Bud still is and says that he must not have been on the road long, especially since he doesn't think about how the police may be around the train he is going to hop. Then, out of nowhere, Deza asks Bud if he's ever kissed a girl. What? Bud is shocked and asks her if she's kidding. Nope. So, does he do it? Yep, he kisses her all right. And that's where we start Chapter 8, Part 4. Here's a little storyboard cartoon that just kind of shows what happens. This is kind of a cool thing that I found. Anyway, here we go. Chapter 8, Part 4 of Bud Not Buddy.